I made you a quick little cheat sheet.
Oh, good.
Right. Yeah.
I just have one more quote.
Screw down that faceplate back there. It's
Which faceplate?
the very back one in the corner, so I don't. I've tripped over it 7 times between last night. It's the one right beside Madison. Which one are you talking about? That one right at your foot?
He took care of it this morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Now that I'm all I don't have to sign that. Yeah.
I'll do myself. Be it as long as you want.
Jay, that's tomorrow's show, man.
I know.
He's got the whole shirt.
I got plenty of more.
I've got one here, like,
Fair enough.
Here it comes. Oh, she's transmitting.
Oh, she's coming.
Probably need to get. Who is Ken the one going? Ken, are you taking orders for those?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Did we figure out where? Right.
Oh, no.
We are aware of that. Check.
Are we closed on Easter Monday, Easter Friday? We ever do that? Do you?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
You have to ask what the staff does. I know Emily's off.
Well, the staff don't know.
The staff doesn't have it. I know, I'm giving Emily, if she got out, I'll next week, I'll be
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you all doing? Good, good. Thank you, Mr. Tim. We always love you for sponsoring lunch. We appreciate always supporting us and everything we do. I'm going to start with a big welcome to everybody that's here and online as well. Andy is at the Masters, so he's not with us today. So he's coming back this afternoon. So he will be here for us tomorrow for Bold. Purple, one of our favorite colors, color of Regency, of course. And several of folks have signed up already, and we appreciate that. If you have not been through a Bold, step one, which is tomorrow, is totally free. So don't hash out and not come to that one. But I think you're going to get so much value from tomorrow on day one. I've seen the program. I've been through the program. I've seen the changes, some of the changes for this current kind of market. You're going to want to do 2 through 7 after you see what they got to offer. So it's going to be a great day tomorrow for us. Before we get into that much deeper, I do want to bucket fill. So my bucket fill goes to the folks that joined us for not only the NCAA kickoff. I thought that was a great afternoon. I thoroughly enjoyed that. We got to kind of fellowship, kind of just relax and then watch some games and eat and just really just have a good time with the KW family. So thank you all for Cindy and the culture folks for making that happen. Secondly, the awards this last week at the country club, I think were amazing. So good meal, good location. Thank you for Jim for helping us get set up with that, and then Cindy and the committee for doing that again. Those awards did not come by accident. Daniel did a whole lot of work in those, as well as Mary. And is Paul here? Paul should have received an award, and he was there. And I'll tell you what, he went to become an LLC last year. So we had 2 sets of numbers, and we failed to combine those numbers when we should have. So I do want to give Paul Lanier and his team recognition for winning an award. If those extra awards are in my office, so as I'm seeing you, I'm getting them to you. So if there are some plaques and you're missing them, see me or anybody that can access my office, and we'll get them to you, but I'm here most days. All right, here comes the Gibsons. Welcome to KW. So, hey, any more bucket fills? Anybody? No bucket fills? Oh, PB&J was fun. Good. And you don't have to be a PB. You could learn something along the way. So that is Zooming for the ones we can. We're actually going to go out to a vacant house and measure. We're going to go out and do some sightseeing and fun-filled things. But thank you, Diane, for coming up with that joke of PB and J and Diane's suit. So yeah, so we're going to continue that, even though we are doing Bold, because I still think there's some growth things we need in there. So thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Really been helping me a lot with a lot of my clients. And
Thank
I really
you, Tim.
appreciate it.
Bucket fill Tim. Thank you, Tim. Always good. We don't do this by ourselves, gang. I tell the new folks, what did I say? You're a team of one? No, you're a team of KW. You've got lenders, you've got inspection people, you've got title companies, you've got folks that are here to support you on your team. So don't ever think you're out there on an island. Anybody else? You're quiet today. I'm gonna get out of that. All right, 7 hugs. Don't that feel better? You feel better, right? You just feel like, wait, whoo, all that stuff is gone. So, well, cool. Well, thank you for that. A couple of more Beckett fills. Thank you to Madison. Pictures. Thank you. They're amazing. They're out on the KW Central website. If you've not seen them or not seen yours, the photos are there, and we appreciate you for knocking that out for us. 6 a.m. that day, she got a frantic text from Cindy after I frantically text Cindy. And so thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. So, all right, what's up? My bucket's full. What's up? All right. Bold. Step one is tomorrow, 9 a.m. There's breakfast and lunch. Feed you twice out of it. That's worth the free admission, right? So, and you know, Steve, our coach, as you've heard on several meetings, is the one that came up with the rotation of, if you call your database when these quadrants, the, what do you call it? The DT, D2, R2, D2 plan. He came up with it. Yeah. So if you do those, then you contact your database throughout the year, and you don't go through the A through H's and you never hit the Z's, right? We're all guilty of that. We start the first of our phone and we never get past a certain letter. So if you work on both ends of the alphabet working in, then you hit all of them. So I think you're in for a great class. I've been through Bold 4 times. This will be my 5th. And I told the PBs, you're never the same person. Like if I'm standing here in front of you today, I'm different than I was when I came November 11th and I met all of you, right? Would you see that I'm a little different than I was then? Well, you're different than you were then too. So as you're never the same person. If we go out in the middle of Hall River today and the water's moving, is that water, we ever going to step in that very same water again? No, right? That water's gone. If I go out there tomorrow and step out in that water, what could have happened in my own personal life in 24 hours that I'm not the same? So you're never the same, nor is the water, right? So don't ever miss an opportunity to grow your business and grow yourselves. I will tell you, Bold is not just about your business. Bold is about this, and it's about this, and getting those in the right place so you can grow your business, okay? Anything else? Anybody want to add about Bold?
Of course, I'm going to say something.
So I am going to sponsor another agent. I've already sponsored one. I decided I will sponsor another one. So if someone has a need, you need to come to me personally. Okay? Because it's really, I'm willing to do that, even though my assistant's like my P&L. I'm like, I'm going to get it back when you have your closings. Okay? Because we get paid back.
You get it back.
You get, we get it back. Well, so what does that mean? 2 closings. So you, within 6 months. Okay. And that should be, unless you're cap. So I'm in cap status. So I won't get mine back till, which is fine, as long as I remember. Emily will. But so I just wanted to throw that out there, that I'd be willing to sponsor another agent.
Hey, so, and there are a couple of sponsorships out there. So don't, if you're thinking about the money at $7.99, gang, you do get it back on your first 2 closings within 6 months. So it is an investment in your future. And I will tell you, I've never ended Bold without multiple transactions. I've never, any of my 4 ended without multiple transactions. So, I mean, that's 100% in my 4 chances at it so far. So, all right, what's up? 45 times. Gary says you need to take it, what, 10 or more, right? But have you ever been in this business cycle we're in now? If you've not, this is a time for you. This class is written for this. So, hey, session 1 on the one side, session 2 on the other. If you like the freebie just for tomorrow, join us with the Greensboro crew. We would love to have you. KW1's coming and partnering with us. And if you got a sucker in the back, of course, you're not a dum-dum. You signed up for Bold, right? So session 1 is on the black side over there, and that's the freebie. Again, we just need head counts to turn into Texas, okay? Right, session 2 through 7, you'll still get an opportunity to sign up for tomorrow after you've been through. Some people want proof in the pudding, but wait, there's more. Some people want to go through a day 1 and see, what am I signing up for? What is this going to be like? And you will still be able to sign up for the sessions after tomorrow. So don't miss out on a seat though. We only have, you see this room's only so big. Yes. 20. 20. Yeah, 20. So if y'all have not signed up, this room could take the last 20 spots and it'd be over. But if they don't come through with numbers on their side, I'll see their numbers once we start signups. If there are openings, we're going to open it up to everyone. And I will tell you, I was on a call yesterday. There was a market center that got pulled because they did not have the participation. It's a huge investment financially to fly in a coach and fly in the products and manuals and CDs and thumb drives and all the stuff that comes with it. That's not cheap. So if there's not enough people, market centers are losing it. So a market center, unfortunately, yesterday got it pulled. So 80. Yes. First step is 60 people signed up. We got 20 seats left for tomorrow. To my knowledge, there are 20 open on the Burlington side for sessions 2 through 7. So I don't, Greensboro's session 2 through 7, I can't tell you. So if they're not filling up their 40, we'll take some.
Yeah.
Yep. All good questions.
This could change your life.
I will tell you, it changed my relationship with my spouse after step 1. I was able to have fiercer conversations at a higher level where I felt more comfortable. I get honest with y'all too easy. I will, look, I don't upset the apple cart. I find a solution. I find a way. I don't dwell in the negative. So if we're in a negative space, I don't care about the negative space. I'm ready. Let's end it. It's over. Let's go here. I needed to learn some conversation styles to help me with that. So I'll tell you, it changed my life. That was just me. Yeah, ready. Oh. Right? You know, we wear different hats here. What's coming up in May? Red Day. It's always the second Thursday in May in honor of Mo Anderson's birthday. And that's when ours is again this year. And it's the day all 200,000 KW agents give back to their communities. So we go out and we've landscaped allied churches. We've painted the bunk beds. We've worked in a dog park. We've folded and unloaded and sorted clothes at Salvation Army. We worked at the elementary school. What on and on, right? Making a difference in the community that makes a difference to us all year. So we're going to get sign-ups for different projects because not everyone has the same physical ability. Like I'm not washing cars again this year. That would be the last time I do that. I'll spray. I'm not scrubbing. But we raised what, $5,000 that day, I think. It's close to it. So Red Day's coming up. But the reason I talk about it now is if you would like a shirt that says KW Central specific, we need to take your order. So shirts are 15, long sleeves are 20, and sweatshirts are 30. Hoodie. It is. Welcome to North Carolina. It's 82 today. And I had on another shirt. So we need your shirt order no later than April 15th because we won't get them back in time. So you need to see Kimmy, see Jason, see Cindy. It'll be specific to us. The first time you'll ever have one that says Central. I did that. She's always checking me. God gave you 2 of these and 1 of those. So KW Central shirts for the first time ever, available for 15 short sleeve, 20 long sleeve, and 30 for a hoodie. Looks just like this, except for KW Central. So see one of us to get that order. $4.15, just like your taxes. If you don't pay your taxes, you don't get a shirt. Yes. PB&J. You love PB&J, right? I'm going to get a sponsor to have PB&J jelly sandwiches. That'll be hilarious. So they're on Thursdays at 10 a.m. I didn't want them to compete with Bold. Wednesday's the better day for scheduling at this point. So we're doing Thursdays right now. So Thursdays at 10, Zoom when it's available. The Zoom don't change. It's always the same. So one of our children keeps asking me, what's the Zoom link? And it's the same one for the last 2 weeks. So it ain't changing. Smart plans, smarter ones.
So as we've been working through Command the last couple months, now we're going on to Smart Plans. I am going to bring Jonathan in because not only does he know this side of things, but he also knows your side of things. So he's going to show you some real life examples of how he's been using Smart Plans in his own business and how it's actually working extremely well for him. We will have this in class. It is, like a open workshop type thing. So if you can be here, I'd highly suggest being here, but we do have it Zoomed and we will have it recorded as well if you can't make it. Yep. So please be here.
Go.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, actually, I'll go for another second. And one other quick thing, this is from KWU. There is a command class coming up. They have 2 different dates, April 11th, April 25th. It should be about 8:30 to 10 a.m. Those are both Tuesdays. So you should be able to just make it, especially if you do it up in the lounge or something. Oh, it's 10:30. Ah. Gotcha. So sadly, you will have to sacrifice one of the home tours. But try to go to the 11th, and if there's a really good home tour, bail out and show up the 25th instead. So, but it seems like it's going to be a really good class. KWU normally puts on some fantastic stuff. So any bit of it you can catch, I'd highly suggest.
With 129 properties last week active on one day. Home tour is looking rough. So we had some low inventory, right, folks? So home tour is dictated amongst the houses that are available. So as we spring up and gear up in the spring market, the more availability of houses there are. So Mr. Tim.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Tim Stratton with Cross Country Mortgage. I've actually taken Bold 3 times. It does help out with a lot and everything in life. And it's funny you were talking about your relationship. My wife can always tell when I took Bold in the past because she said my attitude changed. So, so you're absolutely right about that. And done Red Day a few times. It's a great thing that you guys do. If you can find any scraping and painting, Jim Wooten loves to do that. So just find a place for that, and he'll love to help you out with it. Exactly, with no paint on them. I don't know how that happens, but so I want to talk about a few things that we can do. Some of the things are obvious, but sometimes things you may not know. We can do 100% VA loans. We can do 100% USDA loans. For those of you who don't know, USDA loans are really a great loan. There's a lot of area in Mebane. Just west of here, some parts of Burlington, that you USDA loan, it's 100%. There are some income limitations on it. So you got to be careful with those, and some housing limitations. So if you have a question, just shoot me an email, call me, whatever. It takes me 2 minutes to look it up. I can look up, see if the house is qualifies or if the income qualifies. Don't ever think there's a limit on the actual house because that's technically not true. I've done them up to 300, 350,000 before. It's really not that. It's about the income, how much debt they have, how much child expenses they have. There's a lot that goes into that. We can go up to 96.5 on FHA. The big thing with our FHA is we can do as low as 580 credit score. I can do 570 if they have 10% down. I'm actually doing one right now. The main borrower has a credit score of 525, but his wife has a very good credit score and they're putting a significant amount down because they're selling their house. And I got that approved eligible, which I was a little surprised, to be quite honest with you. But we got that. We're getting that one done. It's closing in May. As far as conventional, we can go as low as 620. We can go up to 50% debt to income on that. A lot of places will stop at 40, 45. Banks are tightening up now. Some of the things that they used to offer are not being offered anymore. So be careful with that stuff. Same thing with FHA. We can go up to 57% debt to income. So that hasn't changed for us. We can do renovation loans. I'm seeing a lot more renovation loans pop up. We do a 203K, which gives you about $32,000 towards cosmetics. Cosmetics being roof, windows, siding, things like that, as long as there's no foundation problems. And then a new one that I want to talk about, well, it's not new, but it seems to be popping up a lot lately. I'm doing 2 this month right now. It's an investment loan. If you guys have any investors, we have a program. It's technically like the old no income, no asset verification. Well, I won't say no asset because they have to put 20% down. Have to put 20% down. Basically, they can buy a rental property. We don't look at their income. All we look at, or how much money they make, we don't look at where they work. Basically, the house rental amount just has to be more than the house payment. So for example, if you're buying a $200,000 house and your house payment's $1,500, it has to go, the rental payment has to be more than that. It can't be vacant. It can be Airbnb. I'm doing one right now that's an Airbnb as long as it has furniture. And I'm doing refinances, not actual purchases. But it's a great loan for investors. And basically, like I said, you just do the appraisal, verify that there's good rental income in the area, and whatever that average rental income is, that's going to be their only debt. And their income will be based on, or the payment will be based on their debt, and the income will be based on their rental. I know it sounds a little tricky, but it's a great program, and I'm seeing a lot more of those pop up now. That's the caveat. The interest rates are not that great. They're at 8%, but you have to take in consideration, you're not on the investor one. On the investor, thank you for clarifying. Only on the investor one, because again, they're not verifying anything. You know, it's considered a high risk loan, but it's a great loan for an investor. And if you have the down payment, you have the rent, you really don't care. You know what I mean? Because the one that I'm doing a refinance for right now, he's taking $200,000 cash out. He's taking that money, and then we're going to do 2 more. He's going to buy 2 more investments. He's going to take half, 100, and put down. So it's a great program for something like that. As far as, well, let me ask first. Anybody have any questions on that or anything else right now? Go ahead, Christy. Great question. How much is it? 32,000? I say 32,000. It's really 35,000. So I'm already taking into consideration that 3,000. Basically, the 32,000 is it comes out to about how much work you can do. And when I've done them in the past, we had to maybe take off 1 thing or 2 things to get down to that number. It's based on the appraisal, and it's based on the improvements by the contractor. So, yes, Stacey. Great question. The credit score requirements on USDA, minimum 640. That's one of those things that's across the board. Me, guy down the street, neighbor, doesn't matter. Those are all going to be the same. So, yeah. Yes, Daniel.
So Sarah Montrose is wondering, she recently heard that the areas had changed for USDA.
I'm not aware of that, but it's a map, and we literally just put in the, yeah, there's eligibility. You just go on USDA.gov and check yourself, put in an address, and it literally says is or is not in USDA loan. So, and they may have changed, but I mean, we're still around here. We still have a huge area of USDA availables.
Gotcha. And her follow-up question is, are the appraisals?
Yes. very similar. USDA appraisals and USDA, FHA, VA are all very similar appraisals. Correct. Right. Yeah, Dimitri. I would do 60. I would always do 60. And for, well, which one are you asking for? You're going to USDA. USDA changes daily. You could do, I would say 45, because here's the way it works. Once I get everything approved, and let's just say we do it in 21 days, I have it done in 21 days, then I send it to USDA. Their time changes every day. Right now, they're like 24 hours. So technically it can be less than 30 days. But to be safe, I always do 45, because you never know when that number is going to increase. It can go from 1 day tomorrow, 7 days. I mean, 1 day today, 7 days tomorrow. I've seen it as high as 30 days, but that's when we were extremely busy. So yes, yes, correct. Well, you know better than me. Sometimes, yeah. They're 100% loan. Yeah, exactly. Normally, well, actually, they can't have that money. No, if you have 20% in your account or more, you won't qualify for USDA loan. I literally had to have a guy pay his mother back for a van that she bought him for $10,000 because he had too much money in the bank, and we had to document everything. Yep. So yeah. Yes. Correct. Yes, 40-year FHA is coming. I haven't done one. No, it's discrimination. When I first got in the industry, if you were over a certain age, I want to say 75 or 70, you would only do 15-year terms. It couldn't go 30-year, and then that changed real quick. But yeah, no limit on that. But I mean, if it works for the borrower and it's the only way to get them in the house, you know, I don't particularly care for them, but if it's the only way to get in the house, it's what we have to do, you know, so.
But it's changing purchasing power.
Yes.
And payment power is playing with those two things over time.
Yeah.
So, and it can be refinanced.
And that's what I was going to get ready to say. Correct. And to get with the refinances, here's what I'm telling all my clients. Any of my clients that I do a loan with, if they come back to me in, 3 months, 6 months, whenever the rates come down, well, we need 6 months. It has to be 6 months. They come to me within 6 months, we're doing a free refinance for them. Okay. The only thing that they would have to do is update their escrows, which is the taxes and insurance. A lot of times, with the way the values are now, if we can take them from FHA to conventional and get rid of some PMI, or just get rid of PMI on the conventionals. We're doing a lot of that lately. There are a lot of people still refinancing right now, believe it or not. There's a lot of debt consolidation. There's a lot of people going from, just going from getting rid of the mortgage insurance. It can be high mortgage insurance. If you did a loan last year with FHA and your credit improved and you have equity in a house, your mortgage insurance could have been $250 last month, and it goes down. So we're still doing a lot of those. So if you know anybody that's needing to do that first, and people are taking out equity for debt consolidation, we're doing those for free for you. So for we call it current customers. So if you know anybody that does that, rates have come down a little bit in the last week. I literally just got a notification. They're better today than they were yesterday. Nothing really to brag about, except for it's just costing people less points. All rates basically right now are costing points. So when someone asks for the rates, you can say, hey, if you got great credit, 25% down, you'd probably be at 6.25, maybe 6 today. I haven't looked because I just got the notification. But for the most part, it's just costing people less money. I quoted somebody a rate 2 weeks ago that was costing them like $5,000 in points, and it went all the way down to 2,500. But then they wanted to pay the extra 500 to get the lower rate, and we dropped it 0.5 point. So that's just an example of things we can do. One last thing, closing cost. My closing costs are $14.90 on all my loans. What that means is most lenders charge 1% origination. If it's a $300,000 loan, That's $3,000. I'm saving them $1,500. I just found out, I didn't realize this because they changed it. One of my competitors, I won't say who it is, but it's not in our office. They charge the 1% origination plus an application fee. You're allowed to do that in North Carolina. You're not allowed to charge underwriting. You're not allowed to charge processing, but you're allowed to charge application. I thought they went away with it, but it was a deal that I took from another lender. They have an application. So if you have someone who has a $3,000, 1% origination, that's $3,000, and then another $1,500 in application, you're at $4,500. So right there, I'm saving $3,000. So if you have somebody who's looking to save money, I mean, if you told all your clients I can save $1,500 or I'm going to give them $1,500 back, they would love me. So that's just a way of doing it. So thank you guys again for everything. I really appreciate all your support. And then we'll see. Oh, one last thing. I have a new hire starting on Monday. I tried to bring him around and do some people yesterday. I'll bring him around when he hires, hopefully starting Monday, either this Monday or next Monday. I would really love him to start now to get him in the bold because I want to get him to try that. So, because like I said, it does help with everything. So thanks again. I appreciate it.
Hey, so writing offers, especially folks, that's an eye opener. If you're not looking at closing costs and cash on hand, and 3,000 versus 15 is a big difference in an offer, right? How much they have on, if you're looking at down payments. So what does April mean in real estate world? Spring market, fair housing month. Did y'all know that? Mary Holder, does she have a note? Oh, cappers. Woohoo! Sonia Sweat just got her full broker license. She finished all her classes and she capped. Sandy Sparks, way to go, Miss Sandy. She capped. Kathy Pinter also capped out. And Elvis, Elvis capped. So we're excited for those 4 folks to get 100% commissions for the rest of the year. So literally ball caps for those 4 people. Yep. Daniel.
So I'm really excited about this one, actually. So for a month, they've been teasing us that this was coming, and it just launched yesterday. Anybody that has the Command app on their phone, and if you don't have the Command app on your phone, you need to get the Command app on your phone. It's free. It's a great tool. It's beyond a companion app. It literally like gives purpose to your phone. You can now, there you go. You can now pull your contacts in from your phone to Command. Yes, extremely sweet, extremely easy. And I know you've been waiting for that. So yes. Okay. So great question. Actually, I'll probably answer that question in just a second on that with the little caveat things. So long story short with it, you launch the app, obviously. Secondly, you're going to go down to the little person head thing there. That brings you to your contacts because there's not many things with the Command app. Here. Yep. And the brand new button that they added is up in the top right-hand corner where it says import. Exactly. Thank you, Vanna.
Allow.
Yep. Yes. Now it may vary. This is from an Android phone, but I do know it works with iPhones as well. We actually tested it with it first. You may have to give permission on your phone for the app to see your contacts. Yep. Awesome. Once it does, you have the little select all button up at the top. If you just want to go ahead and go nuclear and pull everybody over. Yeah. What's that? Yours is in. Oh, it's just being stubborn.
It's not even open yet.
Gotcha. Okay. It may be updating too. Some of you, if you don't use it on a daily basis, this was a major update for the app, so you may be getting an update right this second. But you have a choice. You can either select everybody or you can just go through and nitpick. If you're sitting there going, man, I'm really scared about importing everybody, don't. Just grab 1 or 2 people, import it, check it out, see if it worked well, and then just go back and do it again with everybody. Exactly. Hit continue. It pops up a little prompt just saying that the process can't be undone. Don't let that scare you. It's literally saying that these people are going to move over to command. They're still going to be on your phone. You're just moving them to command as well, making a copy. And then once everybody's moved over, you're going to get a nice little notification that says you're ready to thrive. Yep. So I know a lot of you have been waiting for that for a very long time. This is not an ongoing update. Like if you do add people to your contacts, you may want to hop in there, you know, monthly or every couple of weeks, whatever kind of schedule you want to kind of manually re-update. At the same time, if you are content with that and you are paying for a subscription with like API Nation or whatever, just go ahead and cancel that API subscription, save yourself $10 a month, and yeah. So that's it on that.
He's an ass. He's terrible. All right, what's up? I just went to some big meetings that scared the pants off of me. Last year, anybody want to guess how many complaints they were made to the commission in the state? A lot. The most ever. 1,690. They actually had to hire staff to become auditors to examine complaints. And this is what, April 4th, 1690 was 2022. Anybody want to guess the number of complaints as of March 30th? 900. 3 months.
Now, those are complaints and not substantiated.
Right, just the actual complaint that came in that's got to be checked out and dealt with and whatever. I say that to add that E&O being a part of your monthly package and command, and me, of course, and Daniel, that it's worth it when we see on our side what the legwork is done on your behalf. So please be on your P's and Q's out there. Don't, no gunslinging and no picking and choosing what you want to do, where to do, and how to say and what to say. Follow the rules and don't play in that arena. And I will say, disclose, 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 disclose. I don't care if the washer broke 4 years ago and it leaked out in the floor. 4 years ago, that washer broke and it leaked out in the floor. Find that out. Ask those questions on your listing appointments. Don't let it, and if it comes up in an inspection, share it. If you're on the buying side, share it back. There's those, sometimes, have you ever heard a listing agent say, don't give me that report? I don't want to see that report. Why? Because they don't want to know about the material facts, right? So we can't play in that field anymore. It's always buyer beware. So, and the buyers are letting the commission know any and all. So, all right. Hey, so, wait a second. Oh, we wear lots of hats around here. Hey. See, this is how my day is every day. I know it's always a something. There's a Fair Housing Academy. I taught it here last year. We're going to teach it again this spring right after Bold. And it's open to any brokerage. And it's a deep dive into the video you're getting ready to see. It's only 6 minutes. It's not going to take forever. And then I've got some slides about fair housing that we really need to talk about. And if you don't know, as a BIC, I have to cover 2 things legally with you every year. Fair housing is one. Anybody want to guess what the other one is? Safety. Safety. So I want to show you this because I want you to think. I want you to think outside the box. So this is a video clip of Long Island Divided. And it's a small little glimpse into Long Island Divided. Long Island Divided's over, it's think 60 Minutes, Dateline, that kind of deal. They studied Long Island for 3 years, I think it's 3 years, and created a documentary around it. And they had 200 people shopping real estate offices anonymously. And Joe might go in Same job, same clothes, same handbag, same car, same everything, same lender loan, same everything. Dimitri goes in, same car, same handbag, same clothes, same everything. And what was the treatment?
He'll get the better treatment.
And they went back and went through that and compared notes. I think you will be pretty shocked. So give me 6 minutes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that means I can't go out to see anything. I won't do it. You can try another person, but I don't have big money.
They imposed additional stipulations on the minority testers that they did not impose on the white tester. For example, they would tell a minority tester that the minority tester needed to be pre-qualified for a mortgage in order to receive either listings or to get a tour of home.
So you need that. Absolutely, absolutely. Any other listings or anything. I really know what to show you.
However, that same stipulation was not imposed on the white tester.
Is it possible to for you to start sending me some listings?
I can send you listings in those areas.
Particularly Blacks were on the receiving ends of this unequal treatment. In one test, Johnny Mae Austin was the Black tester and Cindy Parry was the white tester. And they met with Anne-Marie Quealy-Bichon at Signature Premier Properties office in Cold Spring Harbor.
Man, just call her out. Call her out.
They asked for the same thing. As often happens, the agent discussed getting pre-qualified or pre-approved for a mortgage by a bank, showing how much a buyer can spend on a house.
My husband's working with somebody in the bank. And he will obtain a pre-approval from the mortgage lender.
Neither had been pre-approved or pre-qualified. Here's what the agent told the Black tester.
Oh, so I really need that. I won't take out any money. We have a pre-qualification there. So I need to. So that means I can't pre-qualify for a mortgage. Oh, so that means I can't go out to see anything. I won't do it. You can try another person, but I don't have big money.
And without pre-approval, here's what the agent told the white tester.
What is your availability? When can it start? I would say not to come in.
Cindy received 79 listings from this agent. Johnny Mae couldn't get any listings.
Would you rather come with me?
And Cindy, the white tester, received 2 home tours. Bichon did not respond to requests for comment. Another test involved the Black tester, Kelvin Toon, who was going to see an agent by the name of Aminta Abarca at Keller Williams in Garden City.
You'll come twice and you'll sign the commitment.
Over the course of 2 visits, Abarca stressed the need to sign an exclusive buyer's agreement.
If we have a contract, then I'm working exclusively for you.
Without the contract, she refuses to take him on a tour of homes. So as Kelvin is driving back from his aborted meeting with the agent, Kelvin's counterpart, the white tester, receives a voicemail from the agent asking him when can he go out on a tour of homes.
Hi, David. How are you? This is Aminta. I'm just calling to see if you started to do some house hunting now that holidays are over.
She ultimately takes the white tester without him signing any kind of exclusive agreement with her.
West Hempstead, we saw 2 of West Hempstead. The
Yeah.
2 family ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And then we saw the beautiful renovated one.
Abarca did not respond to requests for comment. Keller Williams national spokesman wrote in an emailed statement, Keller Williams does not tolerate discrimination of any kind. All complaints of less than exemplary conduct are addressed and resolved.
I have coordinated more than 12,000 investigations across the country. I have personally done over 1,500 tests. If I go into a real estate office and I say, I'm looking for a house in this price range, I work for this employer and I make this kind of money, generally my word is taken. And I'm not asked to show pay stubs. I'm not asked to go get pre-qualified by a lender. I'm not asked to do a variety of things. But an African-American man matched with me may well be grilled about his financial circumstances, may be asked to be pre-qualified. It suggests that African-Americans and other people of color are not always taken at their word for what they can afford.
In the meantime, I will wait for that pre-approval from your friend or whoever you feel comfortable with. When I get that, I know you are serious about buying.
It certainly has major consequences for that person and their opportunity to obtain housing.
Perez declined comment. The company Perez worked for at the time of the test, Remax LLC, wrote that franchise owners have taken issues raised by Newsday seriously and are committed to following the law and promoting levels of honesty, inclusivity, and professionalism. A law firm representing Douglas Elliman Real Estate, where Perez now works, said Perez dealt more readily with the white tester because he said he consulted a friend working for a mortgage company, while the Asian tester had talked with a friend retired from a mortgage lender. This point is critical, a firm partner wrote. In 7 of Newsday's 86 paired tests, the agent's conduct amounted to a denial of equal service. That affected 5 of Newsday's Black testers, 1 Hispanic tester, and 1 Asian tester.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
I've been tested before.
In Newsday's
So, hey, I want you to know that that was not, it was done, oh, battery. There was Asian, there was a Latino, there was a mixture, so don't think there was separate references to American in there. But there were more, not just American. So
I can't hear you, Jason.
these are graphics that are on Photofy, Photofy. It's an app on your phone, totally free as a realtor. There are hundreds of graphics that are totally free to you. This just happens to be one of the fair housing graphics. So where did it all go wrong? Like, what happened in fair housing that took us to a different place than, how did we get to be unfair in housing? Crickets. Crickets. Us. We did it, right? No one else is doing unfair housing. It's agents. We're the ones out there on the front lines. We're the ones that are out there. If it's in an application, do you think an application is discriminatory? It can be. The application is not making a decision one way or the other. Who's making a decision from the application? It's a human person, right? So where did we get it right? Fair Housing Law of 68, one of the places. Would it shock you if I told you the National Association of Realtors did not agree with the Fair Housing Act of 68? Lobbied Congress not to pass it? Would you believe that? We got it right now. We believe in it. It was the right thing to do. Initially, the thought was that it would segregate and divide, and it wouldn't accomplish, it would be worse on us than better for fair housing practices. So just know our history is a little checkered. Did you know what a realtist is? Don't answer. Anybody know what a realtist? Have you ever heard of realtist? When did the National Association of Realtors start? Over 100 years ago, right? Hey, flick those lights on, will you? Please. Thank you. Whomever is hiding over there, thank you. National Association of Realtors is over 100 years old. Unless you were a white, cisgendered male, you couldn't be a realtor. You mean? Well, no women, no Latinos, no African Americans, only white males could be a realtor. Did you know that? So we've gotten that right now, thank goodness. That's where the term realtists come from. They were folks practicing real estate that were African American. Men only, not women yet. So they came up with the term NAREB, which is the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And they came up with the term realtist because they were excluded to being a realtor. Fair Housing Act and NAR. We've come a long way since we have the non-protected classes. Go ahead. Anybody remember fresh corn? I don't know what they're going to do with the H. It's no longer handicap, it's disability. So they'll have to come up with fresh corn, I guess. Okay, what y'all know what they are? Tell me. There's 8, 9 of them. Family, familial status, children under 18 in the home, not married, don't matter. Children under 18. Religion, race, sex, and we'll asterisk that and come back. National origin, disability. So, and under sex, what are the 2 that are added currently because of transgendered and sexual orientation, right? That can end, and this is not a red or blue, just know that those 2 can end with a stroke of a pen at the next election time. Now, as realtors in the Code of Ethics, though, those 2 are there. So we're held to that accountability. Just know that HUD is there because of the current administration had signed on. It had been removed. So just FYI, keep going. So where do we make a difference? How do we make a difference? It's each one of you that's in front of a client. Every one of you that makes a phone call later on today, that has an appointment later today, that shows a house later today, that's where we make it right. Quick video. I love that we have so many legal things at our touch, that our click, that are totally free. If you're not using those, it's a waste of your money. This one's from the National Association of Realtors about advertising.
Hello, I'm Mike Brody, staff attorney at NAM. 2022 marks 54 years since Congress passed the Fair Housing Act. As real estate professionals, you are legally obligated to uphold the Fair Housing Act, but you're also uniquely positioned to further Fair Housing's initiatives through your commitment to working with clients of all backgrounds. This window to the law focuses on how to successfully advertise your services and available properties while avoiding fair housing violations. Advertisements are a powerful tool to reach consumers and generate leads. The language and images must comply with fair housing laws and a realtor's obligations under Article 10 of the Code of Ethics. Advertisements should never indicate a preference or limitation based on a protected class, which at the federal level includes race, color, religion, sex, disability, family status, and national origin. HUD recently expanded its interpretation of sex to include sexual orientation and gender identity and state and local laws may expand the categories of protected classes even further. When advertising an available property, a good rule of thumb is to describe the property, but not the ideal buyer or tenant. Phrases like perfect for students, or ideal for empty nesters, or a quiet Jewish neighborhood likely raise fair housing issues, as these imply a preference of one demographic over another. In contrast, phrases like easy walk to the train or beautiful Mexican doors are likely acceptable because they reasonably and accurately describe the property's characteristics. Unfortunately, there is no authoritative list of acceptable or unacceptable words or phrases. Instead, real estate ads are judged using a reasonable person standard. This reasonable or ordinary person standard is neither the most sensitive or most insensitive when analyzing whether an ad is discriminatory. Keep in mind, this standard evolves over time, meaning once acceptable words and images, like the Confederate flag, might later present fair housing concerns. It's a competitive market, and real estate professionals often try to set themselves apart, doing so by promoting a fluency in a particular language or a specialization in a particular area of a community unlikely pose fair housing concerns. However, avoid indicating a preference or limitation for the clients you serve. For example, indicating a specialty in Polish-speaking home buyers may be problematic as targeting one group over another, whereas stating that your office is fluent in Polish or provides translation services is appropriate because these describe an inclusive feature of your office. Just as with advertising properties, you can describe your services, but not who you want to serve. Finally, consider including a fair housing opportunity message or fair housing logo in your ads to demonstrate your commitment to providing equal professional service to all. For more information and tips, check out NAR's Fair Housing Resources at nar.realtor/fair housing. Thanks for watching this episode of Window to the
Can you tell he's an attorney? So, hey, and I'll bring it up and be honest, the Confederate flag one came out of North Carolina. The Confederate flag that bubbled up to the National Association of Realtors was a listing photo with a Confederate flag in it. My answer to that is it's personal property. Why are we taking a picture of something that's not going to be here when they buy the house? Right? Unless you ask for it on the personal property, it's no need for it to even be there. Yep. Nope. It does. Yep. They are trying to protect you from steer words or discriminatory words, and there's spiders in the descriptions to catch those. All right, next. Okay, so what can we do to make a difference? Give me some. What are some ideas? Y'all tell me. Systems, consistency, right? Don't pick and choose what conversations you have. Have an intake sheet that you ask the same 10 questions to every person. All right, good one. Just be good, right? And what's one of the ones doing to others is the golden rule, right? That's one of the first thing in the code of ethics, doing to others as you will be treated. You saw in that horrible video, I'm sorry, a video of, I won't take you unless you get a pre-approval. I won't take you unless you sign with me. That's fine if that's your business practice, but you have to do that 100% with every single person. The people in that video wouldn't even send you an email with a listing, right? Any others? All right. You've got resources at your fingertips. Use them. Agents in your office, your team leader, your BIC, ask a question. If you're wondering or if you're in doubt, don't doubt. Ask. Be inquisitive. Use your association. Baycar's here for you as a resource. It's just not a little pretty building over off Alamance Road. NC Realtors, and there's the website, ncrealtors.org, which is being updated. You'll get a fresh new website coming soon. They offer classes, videos, and a ton more on that website on fair housing. Also NAR, which is nar.realtor. They have an entire section landing and page with videos and graphics and marketing and things you can use this month for you can promote yourself as a fair housing agent. So use those resources to set yourself aside. There's 250-ish of us. If these 30 people, you just set yourself aside from the other 220. Just saying. Fairhaven. Anybody in here done Fairhaven? Do you know what Fairhaven is? So it's a simulation of a fictitious town called Fairhaven. It's on the nar.realtor website, and 45 minutes to an hour. But it takes you down a cookie trail of fair housing. Based upon how you answer is where the next cookie, think Hansel and Gretel, the next trail goes. There's no right or wrong answers. They're just better answers. And I'll tell you, when I took Fairhaven, the first question was mansion on the lake in Fairhaven. Everything's been negotiated out. We send the contract over. We're all in agreement. The seller gets the contract, and the name on the contract, they say, I'm not selling to that person. The first question back to you in Fairhaven is, okay, buyer agent, what do you do and say? So you ask, I was like, are we like tiptoeing in on the soft side, or are we jumping off the diving board, right? No, you're jumping in. So play this little quick video, and we're almost done.
It has been more than 50 years since America passed the Fair Housing Act, but we have far more work to do to eliminate discrimination in real estate. Welcome to Fairhaven, a new fair housing learning experience from NAR. Fairhaven simulated scenarios will challenge you to confront bias in yourself, in clients, and in other real estate professionals. After your trip to Fairhaven, you'll see the world differently, and you'll be better prepared to tackle discrimination in real estate. Fairhaven, the next stop on your fair housing journey.
So you get a snazzy little certificate at the end. You get registered with the state as well as national as a graduate of Fairhaven, okay? One of the scenarios, not only are you the agent all the time, you get flipped and you're the customer and you get discriminated against. So it's quite powerful for 45 minutes. The goal is to sell 4 houses in Fairhaven by the end of your simulation. So there you go. Yay! Who would have thought that up? Week ahead, click the link, sign in. 2 months. Fairhaven is a link in your weekly Friday newsletter, and it's been there for about 2 months. And it's Fair Housing Month, so we probably should move it up. All right, next up is things you can do. Take the Fair Housing Academy when I teach it next. Get some of your other folks in. We're going to deep dive into that video you saw. You ain't seen nothing yet. That was a teaser. Do you know that there are deeds that said not one other race than Caucasian can live in here ever? Deeds? Bias overrides, another little class that they started last year. We all have them, every single one of us. I have a bias to disability. And I think it came from my mother was born. You know how you have a hip in the ball fits in the hip. My mother was born without the little ball, so her leg dangled as a baby. She had 9 surgeries. By the time she was 12, they said she'd never walk. So she had a little limp. And I watched her over my lifetime before she passed have to get a 3/4 inch buildup on shoes. I had watched her have a hip replacement later in life. So I think having been in an environment with someone with a disability, I think it tuned me into that, but you can overcome those. Biases are learned. So don't get caught up in what your biases are. You can take the Harvard bias test. There's like 30 of them. They take about 2 minutes each. Rapid fire questions to tell you if you're biased or not. Whether you're biased about religion, biased about national origin, biased about disability, and then what do you do with it? You correct it. Yeah, you turn that ship around. You don't turn a ship around with one steer, right? It's slow and steady, wins the race. At Home with Diversity, you can get a AHWD certification from the National Association, like a GRI and an AHWD and all those little fancy acronyms. It's a 4-hour course that digs deep into diversity. Great course. I took it several years ago. All right, next up. Now what? Volunteer. Be on a KW committee. Be on our DEI committee. We welcome you at DEI on the association level. It's Fair Housing Month. Next Thursday, when we have our meeting at the association, it's an entire hour of skits and fun and work together. And it's a workshop that I'm working with you on fair housing. So come have lunch with us. It's going to be a blast. Get a designation like AHWD. It sets you apart when they're like, what is an AHWD? And you can say, oh, I'm committed to diversity as a realtor. Watch videos on those websites from NAR or for NC Realtors. Create a system, just like Christy said. The more systematic you are, the less times you can even open yourself up to a problem. Don't be the agent that says, I need a letter from you, but I'll take you. Don't pick and choose, create a consistent system. And be consistent. Be a fair housing champion. So if you see something, say something, is what I say this is. If you see someone making jokes at the water cooler that are inappropriate, say, hey, that's not the right time or place. You can't be a troll at night on the internet and then come and open your door tomorrow morning and say, oh, I'm a fair housing champion. I've been horrible online for 7 hours, but let me sell you a house. And take the Fair Housing Pledge. So there is a pledge to fair housing. And when we join Triangle officially and 100%, there is a pledge that you will take Fair Housing Academy, or you'll take Fair Haven, or you'll take Bias Override within the first year. So this is your S on your chest. Yours is not different than mine. It's not better than mine. Mine's not better than Cindy's. I just got chills for a second. Those agents you saw being discriminatory on that video didn't have a different R than you do. Right? Protect your R. Be the champion we need you to be, so that when we're in front of the clients in the community, that R stands for something different. That you are fair, we are fair. Our industry deserves the credibility that we go into training and classes and code of ethics and registrations and all the things we do year round to be the best agents we can be. Protect your R. All right. Thank you. Have an awesome day. See you tomorrow for Bold Step 1 if you have not signed up. And we'll see you for lunch next Thursday at the association.